What's up, guys? As always, I'm TheInvertedShadow. And before we start, I'd like to kind of apologize for my rather kind of rugged appearance. I had a kind of a bad experience with the razor today as I was trying to shave, so that it is also pretty goddamn hot. You could probably hear my fan in the background right there, but in the meantime, it is time to start off the Q&A. Now, before we start, I'd like to address two things that I forgot to address in my face review video, which I'll link right here in the description below. So, first order of business is, as I mentioned before, I will once again, sorry, I'm a little off tonight, I will once again be attending this year's BronyCon. I will be attending all 3 days of the con with my friends Gonzo, Incoherent Chipmunk, Ditsy Dubs, and all those other kinds of good people. I'll be staying at a Holiday Inn, like, somewhere near the convention center, so, if you really want to see me, I'm not going to be on any panels per se, but let me just pull up the schedule right here. Where is it? Oh yes, I will be in the audience for the SFM Ponies panel in the Hall of the Moon on Friday at 8 p.m. Like I said, I'm not going to be on the panel per se. I'm just going to be in the audience watching the panel. So, if you happen to see a stupid-looking guy with a Jew-fro and the Trixie plushie, as you can see right back there, that'd be me. Other than that, I'll mostly just be wandering around the convention doing fuck all, or just wondering what I'll be doing. So that's that, and second order of business, and I really should have mentioned this back in the face reveal video, and that is my Fortress Swim collab. I forgot to mention this. I have nearly enough entries to fully assemble the collab, but the thing I didn't mention was the deadline. Mark your calendars, people. The deadline for the Fortress Swim collab will be August 26th. I think that should be fair enough. So, with those two things out of the way, let's get on to answering your questions.
How do you keep your hair so luxurious?
Well, it only figures we'd start with a question like that. So, honestly, I don't even know. I've always kind of liked my, my hair long like that, so... Which is weird because usually when I was like 12 or 11 or so, my hair actually used to be a lot shorter. There's baby pictures explaining that I have that I'm not even going to bother showing or anything. But yeah, I've always kind of liked my hair long. As for how I keep it this long, I don't even fucking know. And holy shit, has it gotten longer since the last time I recorded this.
What's your favorite video game, and do you have a Wii U?
Technically speaking, my favorite video game would have to be anything from the Sly Cooper series. That has always been one of my favorite platformer games, and as for your other question, yes, I actually do have a Wii U. I'm actually going to leave my Nintendo ID right here at the bottom of the screen, because if you want to add me, then please, by all means, send me a request. I could actually use some more people to play some Splatoon with, believe it or not.
What do you think of My Little Pony Season 5 so far?
Honestly, outside of maybe that Princess Spike episode, Season 5 has actually been pretty good. At least in my opinion, at least. I will say the Princess Luna episode, that was badass. It's about time we actually got a Princess Luna episode, but other than that, I'm actually looking forward to both the other half of Season 5 and also Equestria Girls Friendship Games. And for anybody who's actually seen the animatic that was shown at Comic-Con for the finale at MLP Season 5, please do not tell me anything about it, because I'm trying to save myself and keep myself spoiler-free for that finale. So if you could just keep it to yourself, that'd be kind of nice. So,
What do you want to do in life that involves making people happy besides some of your awesome videos you made every day?
Honestly, if I could just entertain people in general, even if it's not from making my videos, I just like to entertain. Like, if it were just through voice acting or singing or any other kind of thing like that, I would love to take up it. I mean, I do still do voice acting on the side, but yeah, anything I can do to entertain, that really is all I need.
Would you go see Dr. Wolf to try to get rid of your camera shyness? I heard he's the best brony therapist there is.
I've actually heard of this Dr. Wolf before. I've seen some of his videos. I just know he's one of them brony analysts or whatever it is, but apparently he's one of the best in the fandom. I heard he's going to BronyCon, so yeah, we'll see what happens. And regarding the other part of your question there, I actually had a lot of comments for the Q&A regarding the, oh, could you please put my character in the EOI, or can you have this happen in the EOI? Let me just say this right now. Yes, I'll say it again so it's perfectly clear. Yes, more Elements of Insanity videos are coming, but please just be patient, alright? Because I have a lot on my plate, I gotta prepare for BronyCon and all the other kind of shit, so they're coming, alright?
Aside from Shadow Rush, do you have any other OCs?
Other than Shadow Rush, None that I can really think of, no.
Who did you prefer on Game Grumps, JonTron or Danny?
I actually haven't watched Game Grumps recently. I mean, I've tuned into some of their stuff. I always prefer both of them. If you're asking for personal preference, I always prefer JonTron because, come on, how can you not love JonTron?
What was your favorite moment of E3 this year?
I'm gonna have to go with the generic answer of Fallout 4 since I... Fucked if I could be paying attention to the rest of E3, so...
What's your opinions on Five Nights at Freddy's 4?
Please, God, don't let this be a reality. God damn it, it is! Before anybody asks, no. I Am Shadow and I are not going to be playing Five Nights at Freddy's 4, no matter how much it's requested, alright? Because we're going to be playing 3 and then we're done with this series, alright? 4 is more than enough, alright?
If the real Trixie were to suddenly show up in your bedroom, would you, for lack of a better phrase, f*** her right to the pussy?
Well, I think I'd actually probably just maybe give her a hug, maybe lay her on the bed and snuggle with her a bit, you know? What, did you really think I was gonna fuck a cartoon horse? I'm not that depraved.
Favorite memes?
I really don't know how to answer that one, because there's so many of these memes all across the internet, I'm not entirely sure if I'd be able to pick just one. Then again, why would I want to?
What do you think about the Five Nights at Freddy's fandom?
It's okay, I guess. I mean, granted, the FNAF fandom must be pretty inane and retarded and out depraved shit, but I can't really complain about it that much since there is a lot of good stuff that comes out of it, like stuff with like songs and animations and all that other kind of stuff. So I guess I'm pretty much neutral towards it.
What do you think about racing games such as Need for Speed?
I've played racing games before. One of my favorite series happened to being the Burnout series. I actually happen to have the collector's edition of Burnout Paradise on my Steam. I'll have to thank a bearded Doom guy for that one, so I'll have to play that at some point. But yeah, racing games are like a one-off thing for me.
What do you think about the Call of Duty games?
Well, I had a feeling I was going to get answered that at some point, but I may as well come out with the truth. Yes, I have played some of the Call of Duty games. I'm actually kind of guilty of owning Modern Warfare 3. It's right here on my shelf. Well, not Warfare 3. I don't know. I've lost track of how many goddamn Call of Duty games there are out there. So they're okay. They're nothing too special, but they're just okay.
What happened to your Let's Play channel?
There's an interesting story about that, actually. Believe it or not, it actually wasn't a copyright from any kind of gaming company. It's actually because I happened to post a sort of blind commentary on a so bad it's good movie duology called Terror Tunes. I believe my friend Modera13 might actually know what I'm talking about. And that commentary ended up getting flagged by copyright, and that just happened to be the straw that broke the camel's back, and my channel got terminated, which kind of sucks because I lost all the footage that I had recorded on that channel, so there was no hope of me ever getting it back, which kind of sucks.
Name 4 sexual videos that you like.
Do I really have to name 4 of those things? There's like a gazillion of those things out there, so I guess anything by like Finn Hevich or Santa Hoovy is really the most I can say about that.
Listen to the title music of Crazy Bus for the Sega Genesis, then tell me what you think.
Well, it's certainly a lot of pixelated noise, but it's nothing that I can really complain about, or other than it's sounding pretty annoying.
Do you like ear rape?
Well, considering one character of mine is all about that accursed noise, I'm okay with it. So I wouldn't make it a thing, but I'm okay with it, as I've said.
I teleported cake for 3 days straight.
Dear God, you're mad!
You have any other future plans for a new series? Like a series you maybe have thought about making but haven't really gotten into?
I have several ideas for new series, actually. There is one that involves a character that I actually showed on my DeviantArt. I'm actually hoping that I'll be able to get that one going, because I'm really excited to be working on that.
Hello, forgetting someone?
You know, somehow I knew I'd fuck it up sooner or later. Yes, that question actually kind of ties into the fact that there are 2 people that I forgot to thank in my face reveal video for 100,000. And it's because of this I actually feel heavily regretful that I forgot about them, because they mean a lot to me. The first one, as you may have guessed there, is my oldest friend, T-Rex Hunter 2000. He's quite literally the oldest friend, actually the very first friend that I made in this Gmodding community, and is one of the reasons I was still going. Granted, I don't talk to him as much as I used to, but still, I value every moment that I've had, mostly because of the many ideas he's given me, and also because he's basically the one who helped me make my first Gmod tennis, which I'll link out right here and also in the description below, so... Thank you, T-Rex Hunter, for, like, being one of my closest friends. I feel bad that I don't talk to as much, but I still value. And the other person is also one that, I'm being totally serious in saying that if I had not met this guy, I don't think I would have ever made it as far as I did in this community. That person is, I'm simply going to call him by his name, Juggernaut. It is because of this guy that a lot in my Gmodding career has been accomplished. He is the reason that I was first introduced to Mindless Gonzo, and the whole Elements of Insanity thing took off, and many other things that have, What I'm trying to say is that this guy is, like, always been there for me when I'm down, and he's helped me through some very tough times, and I've also been there for him. So, Juggernaut, thank you. I feel bad that I didn't credit you in my 100,000, but thanks for being a true friend here and there, so, thank you.
Will you ever take me into consideration for helping out with your projects? All I can do is make music and artwork, that's about it.
Honestly, if I had the money to keep up with paying people like that, I probably would do it. I mean, it would be nice to actually be able to hire some more, voice actresses and writers and composers and all that, but I just don't make enough money at the moment just to be able to, to keep them on track. I actually kind of consider making it a stretch goal on my Patreon to be able to hire more people for my crew, but other than that, maybe. I might take it into consideration.
If you had to choose between the sun or the moon, what would you pick?
Well, why should I have to choose? I mean, whichever one you choose, either one of them is going to have a bigger globes, if you know what I mean. Oh god, that was a terrible one.
What's your favorite genre of music?
I've stated this before, my favorite genre is kind of a tie between metal and electronica, so either one of those two will really get me going. It's kind of a good thing to keep me motivated.
What's your favorite instrument? Not as in what you play.
I'm going to cheat with this one. My favorite instrument is a guitar, because I actually have a guitar like sitting right over here, which I really actually play anymore, but that's kind of beside the point.
How do you keep track of all the OCs and their personalities?
Honestly, I'm not sure how to really answer that question other than I just have a really good memory. Photographic memory, to be exact. I guess that's kind of one benefit of being with somebody with Asperger's syndrome. Other than that, I don't know.
How did you come up with the storyline for Pinkie Pie's exciting adventure?
When I was thinking of, when I was working on the last part of Derby versus the Gang of 10 Greets, I actually kind of thought to myself, something along the lines of, what if I was to do another similar story, but with the different elements and with a different character? And, well, as for the whole thing with Pinkie Pie, well, she is kind of my favorite main six, so to put her in this kind of situation, I wanted to kind of show, with Pinkie Pie's exciting adventure, I kind of wanted to show, like, a more serious side of her character, that she can actually handle herself without her friend. Well, granted, she has Pinkish Cupcake with her, but you kind of get the idea.
When you use right-click to zoom into shots with a camera tool, is it hard to keep it from tilting in one direction?
Oh, believe me, that happens all the time. It takes a lot to get precise with the zooming with the camera tool, believe me. It is not fun at all.
Is making trippy as hell YouTube poops time-consuming with all the effects?
Not too bad, if, all the effects and all that isn't that really the problem, but I'll tell you what is the problem. Actually making jokes in your poop that are funny. That's kind of a chore right there.
Oh, for the love of Pete! A guy goes to the dog park, and he forgets the dog! I love you!
Wrong context there, but I hope you enjoyed that little joke, or moment of insanity, whatever the hell you want to call that.
How did you get into My Little Pony?
Believe it or not, I actually got interested in My Little Pony thanks to my girlfriend. And, when she, actually insisted and she forced me, yes, that's right, forced me to watch an episode. And so helped me, that episode actually happened to be Party of One. And it's a decision I do not regret because now I'm actually part of a very nice community. Or, so I've been told.
I already answered this one.
In your last teaser video, you had a 40k Space Marine wearing black Templar colors fighting Witchy. Was that just a happy accident, or do you actually play it?
That Space Marine that you saw was actually Necrid, and the reason he was fighting Witchy is actually due to a subplot that's going to be appearing in my series The Lost Ones. Episode 3 is still underway, so I'm hoping that I'll be able to keep it going. As for the other question, no, I had never played a Warhammer game, although a friend of mine on DeviantArt known as God for it actually challenged me to play one of those games, so we'll see what happens.
What's it like inside of Twilight Sparkle's head? How does that even work?
The best way that I can explain what goes on in Brutal Light's head, basically imagine that your mind is split in two, and then the two parts are then put in a blender and roll all together and mishmash together until you have one big massive migraine that you have to deal with along with two different personalities. Fair enough? Answer your question?
Who's your favorite freak outside of your creations?
I'm split between two. Those two freaks being Doppelganger and Soldine. Why those two? I don't know.
Am I cool?
I guess I don't know you that well, so I'll just have to say that you are cool, I guess.
What is Maybin Poopies?
In order to properly pronounce the way that they're combined, I'd have to pull my tongue out. And that's not really pleasant.
How long does it take to generally make a video?
For the shorter stuff, like say the recent collab entries that I've done, and also stuff like why Sunset Shimmer needs her Snickers, they usually take maybe like a couple of hours, maybe even a day or two at the very least. And then for the longer stuff, like say Vinyl's Big Night, Rain by Meets the Worthy Adversary, and other stuff like that, they can take up to a month and a half, or maybe even several months, depending on how lazy I am. And that's kind of an understatement. Emphasis on being lazy.
I already answered this one.
Might I ask you to draw my life milestone? If not, I'm okay with it.
If I could actually draw worth for shit, then yeah, I would. And also it would help if I had a whiteboard around here somewhere, but maybe.
What's the voice changer for Rainbine?
I use a program called Vocodex, or however the hell it is pronounced. I use that program in order to make Rainbine's voice. You can find the link for it here and in the description below. You really only need the demo version of the software to do it right, so that's really all you need to know.
Which member of the Elements of Insanity is your favorite?
Believe it or not, my actual favorite EOI would have to be Fluttershout. Why? Because, well, technically speaking, I would say she's actually the brains of the whole operation, second only to Brutal Light. But Fluttershout is the one who knows all the most about the freaks and also how to keep most of the EOI in line, which is saying a lot. So, yeah, she's my favorite. Second favorite would have to be Magic Mare, of course.
How would you feel if you saw my real face? The reason is that I had a channel trailer which featured my real self, but due to the comments I got rid of it.
Well, that's really good to know. It takes a lot of guts to admit that, and seeing your real self, I guess I wouldn't be too adhere to that. I think I may have seen your picture at some point, but I can't be too sure, so I wouldn't mind.
What was your reaction to the 100th episode of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic?
That episode and the Princess Luna episode that we got a couple weeks ago. Those two episodes are all I have to say about Season 5, and it's going to be awesome. Believe it or not, I actually went to a meetup to actually watch the 100th episode, and they had sparkling cider and everything to commemorate such a momentous milestone of an episode. So, in other words, episode 100, totally awesome.
Do you like EDM? What kind?
I like EDM, it's okay with me. As for what genre, I don't know. I didn't even know there was multiple genres of it.
How can the Elements of Insanity take several bullets?
To compare such a thing, let's say, a normal pony that is not possessed would really only take one shot, and that would be all it take. But let's say you have a pony freak, like say Brutal Light or Rainbine or such. Being that the freaks inside of them would obviously have strengthened their bodies, I'd say they would take at least several bullets before going down. Really, I don't even know my own logic, so I can't really explain it that well.
What's your take on clop? I personally like it.
Isn't that term that's basically the bronies made up for, like, another way to say masturbating? I don't have a problem with it, but if you just keep it out of my, if you just don't shove it down my throat or whatever the hell it is, then we'll be just fine.
What do you think of the slapper freak Piss Cakehole?
I've seen a couple of videos of that freak, and he's interesting to say the least, so I think that's really all I can say.
I've seen Nurse Redheart, Octavia, and Vinyl Scratch have been made insane as on your DeviantArt page. Can I see them in a video short or something? Octavia and Vinyl are my favorite background characters, and seeing them would be so awesome.
Now, talking about the freakified Nurse Redheart, that was actually a character made by a YouTube pooper many of you might actually know as Mobro Studios. That was a character of his known as Nurse... the name escapes me at the moment, but I basically made that picture for him for his birthday, so it's not a freak per se. And then as for the Octavia and Vinyl Scratch, you mean these two? because those aren't actually pony freaks at all. They're two characters made by another friend of mine who you may know as Howcood145 on DeviantArt. Those are two characters of his named Vinyl, Descratchen, and Distravia. I'm actually going to leave a link to the original picture here and also in the description below. I think he'd really appreciate the attention.
What about Rainbow Dash's quest for swag? Is it going to continue or not?
Yes, as Cybermelon explained in his latest updated video, which is right here, yes, Part 6 of Rainbow Dash's Quest for Swag is in production. It will be out soon enough, so it was, yeah, just keep being patient.
You once said you saw potential in my work. I'd like to know exactly what you meant by that. It took me a couple of years to make Gmod screenshots that look half decent, and I still haven't really improved much since then. And my posing skills barely improved at all in general since I started using the stand pose and ragdoll mover trick.
And I do stand by that statement. Your work has potential. You just need to work on your posing and, well, you need to... It's basically all a matter of not making your ragdolls look stiff. Is kind of what the thing I'm getting at. But you don't have that long of a ways to go.
Will there ever be a video with Ass Pancakes being the main character?
Yes, I do have plans for using more of Ass Pancakes, and also Buddhist Murder Pyro for those who actually remember him too. I really need to reboot them soon enough.
Why do you hate the way you look and sound so much? You don't look that ugly, and I've seen some ugly things in my life.
As I've said, I've always been self-conscious about the way I look and sound. It's not mostly an Asperger's thing, it's just, you know, just... Like I said, I just don't like the way I look. You know, for one thing, I'm fat. I'm going to admit that right now, so that's, and I don't know. I've never always thought I was the attractive type, or I just kind of fell short of that. And, as for my voice, I do practice voice acting, but other than that, I'm basically just a fat-looking nerd. That's, and wow, that was a voice crack. But you get the idea. That's the best way I can put it.
After you're done with the EOI series, what will you do after that?
Honestly, I'm not entirely sure. I probably do some other My Little Pony related stuff, or any other kind of story ideas that pop into my head. Who knows?
What do you like doing other than videos?
Besides that, I also practice some voice acting on the side. I'm actually working on a reel of Dota 2 characters that I'll hopefully have up soon enough, so look forward to that.
Which franchise, of any kind, do you like the most?
Other than My Little Pony, I don't know. There's so many that I actually have a fondness for that I can't really name one off the top of my head, so...
What's the feeling of all this unexpected attention?
Honestly, I'm still wondering where all these people came from, because, you know, the sudden influx of subscribers I've gotten in recent months is still surprising. The fact that my Patreon just shot up to like $200+ worth of pledges in like only a couple of hours or so after it was launched. The fact that my own parents were actually pledges in that, seriously, I know that my parents were actually kind of supporters of my work, not in the way that you're thinking, but still, it surprises me.
I already answered this one. Do I sound British enough, or I need more practice on it?
I wouldn't know since I haven't really seen any of your videos, so I have to kind of watch your stuff to kind of get a feel for it.
And I already answered that one. I'd like to ask if you'd be needing any composers of any kind. I'd be fully willing to supply you with a new track every single week.
I said this to that Tengu guy, I consider you, but other than that, I'm not really entirely sure what kind of music you can compose that I'd need, so I'll take it into consideration.
Have you ever played Jet Set Radio?
I've heard of it, I've seen other people play it, and I've seen videos of it, but I've never played it myself, so that'll probably answer your question.
What inspired you to come up with the elements of insanity, like coming up with the character names and designs?
This all started once again with something my friend T-Rex Hunter 2000 came out with. It all started with this image here of Rarity and Rubber Fruit, and it was basically the thing of them going kleptomaniacal, and I had the idea to make a video out of it, which is what led to that video of mine called The Mind Fight. The Mind Fight is essentially what led to the creation of Rare Fruit, and as for the rest, well, I originally intended to just stop it with Fluttershy, but then they kind of spiraled out of control, and there you go, Elements of Insanity.
How did you find out about having Asperger's syndrome?
I first found out about my Asperger's when I was about, let's say 6 or 7. I was, basically what happened is, my mother noticed that my behavior in school was, kind of amiss, so she took me to this kind of facility or whatever, like some research place, or I don't know. I honestly don't remember at this point, but they ran some tests on me, and when they came out, yeah, they basically diagnosed me with Asperger's syndrome. That's the most that I can remember at this point, because it's been Ages.
When and how did you start doing Gmod animation to get to where you are now?
Already explained this back in my 100,000 reveal video, but it basically came from watching people like Mr. Mild and GB7 Zone 7. I was inspired by them. As I said, all I had at the time was just Windows Movie Maker. I didn't know how to get Sony Vegas or anything like that, and that's how it started.
Can you finally do Uncanny Night Watch 2? FNAF 4 has been confirmed, and it's been months since the episode when you said you would do it!
Alright, first off, you may want to get your caps lock fixed, as I think it might be broken. Secondly, the script for another Uncanny Night Watch has been finished. It's just a matter of getting my voice actors together and actually animating it, so.
Do you plan on going to BabsCon in San Francisco, California?
If I could get the money to go to such a convention and actually be able to travel that far, maybe. I mean, I've never been to BabsCon or any other major Brony convention besides BronyCon, so we'd have to see what happens then.
If you choose any Lamborghini, what would it be?
Wow, is that a hell of a lot of cars right there, Jesus. I guess I'd have to go with the Diablo, because why not? And my favorite main 6 happens to be Pinkie Pie, just so you know.
What is the most obscure movie, cartoon, TV show, or video game that you are a fan of?
There are 2 video games that I'm actually very big fans of that are pretty obscure. The first of those being the Katamari Damacy series, which is, I have actually played 2 of them at one point and greatly enjoyed them. And the second game is another one called Stretch Panic, which a lot of you on the internet have probably seen. And you've probably seen the Game Grumps played. It's weird, but it's fun. I'm hoping I can actually get a copy of it.
Have you played Heroes of the Storm? If not, will you do it?
I've heard of it. Supposedly, from everything I've read, it's like a MOBA like Dota, only it has Blizzard characters like World of Warcraft, Diablo, and all that other stuff. If given a chance, maybe I'd play it. I don't know.
I don't want to be like the others, but what happened to Double Shadow Plays Five Nights at Freddy's 2?
Alright, I answered this already, but once again, yes, Double Shadow Plays Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is happening. I'm just waiting for a commission from a friend of mine just so I can actually put it in. So, there you go.
Can I have Twilight Sparkle as my ambassador?
So you're essentially asking if I have control over a fictional colored horse from a cartoon show? That's really none of my business, so, go nuts, my friend.
Where's the Kami series going? Will there be another episode, and will Innerheart Spyani be in it?
The Kami series is indeed still going. I've actually, I've already started the idea for one particular episode, which I'm hoping to get through with it. As for Innerheart Spyani, I don't know. We'd have to see about that.
Already answered that. What do you usually do in your life besides the EOI?
Besides video making and the EOI, I usually like to go out for walks on the town, maybe exercise a bit. You know, simple stuff. I'm not really that interesting, honestly.
Will there be a new voice actor for Ass Spike in the future?
I've had thoughts of finding a new Ass Spike VA. I might keep Gonzo for it, but if anybody else wants the job, then please contact me and we'll see what happens.
In your Double Shadow productions, who recorded the game footage? You or I Am Shadow?
The footage was all recorded by me. She has a Mac, I have a PC, and thankfully enough, the recording is good enough that I can actually pick up a Skype call, so that's good enough.
What would you recommend to make a video for my first Gmod video?
Most I can say is there really is no actually any one good video editing software. I mean, as I've said, I use Sony Vegas, so if you want to start with Windows Movie Maker or anything like that, be my guest. So, the biggest advice I can give you is start out small. The small ideas, and then work your way up. Like, you know, start small. That's really the best advice I can give you.
What's your favorite N64 game?
Banjo-Kazooie and its sequel, hands down, no arguments.
I already answered that. I wonder, is there any place you'd like to visit someday?
There is one part of New York I'd like to visit someday, and that's basically so I could just hang out with my friend I Am Shadow. Other than that, not really sure. There are lots of places I'd like to visit, like in far-off places, but I can't name them off the top of my head. But I'd love to travel, believe me.
Already answered that too. If you could replace the one TF2 item with a workshop item, what would they be?
Now that I think about it, there was actually a set on the workshop which was basically making the spy look like Freddy Krueger. I would love to replace that with something in-game.
Your political or religious affiliation?
I am and have always been a Christian. Not a devout one because I don't really go to church anymore, but yeah, I still believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, so that answers your question, right?
If you could spend a day in Equestria, what would you do?
Only a day? I guess if I had just one day, I guess I'd probably spend some time with either Pinkie or just go out of town, maybe have some fun with all the ponies there. What, did you think I go all band from Equestria on that? No.
I've been thinking of making the move from Adobe Premiere Pro to Sony Vegas for quite some time, and while it will take some getting used to, I don't know if the window layouts for Sony Vegas are the ones that most Gmodders use. Is there a chance, and I apologize in advance if you don't use Sony Vegas, you can provide info about what settings you use in Sony Vegas?
Being I've only had experience with Premiere Pro only once, and that was to make a YouTube poop, I honestly wouldn't know what to tell you, but Sony Vegas is simplified, I guess. It takes some getting used to the interface, but you should be able to use it just fine.
What's your favorite MLP shipping?
Favorite shipping, hands down, is Sunset Shimmer and Trixie. Well, what were you expecting?
You think it's really possible for someone to make a smexual vid using quotes from Killing Floor 2?
Well, hey, if it can be set and spliced, then of course it can be made into a smexual. They would just probably take some time, right?
With the Dazzlings and Starlight Glimmer coming up in your storyverse, are there any current plans regarding a certain dead king?
Well, I haven't really had any thoughts about it, but I'm not saying it's not possible. As for the others, Starlight Glimmer is actually going to be is going to be a big part in one of the other story arcs. I'm not going to say which one, but she will be playing a major role. So keep your eyes peeled for that.
Why no owl snipers?
Well, why not?
If you were surrounded by laughing jokers, what would you do?
It's like being surrounded by another 100 me's, only much more insane, so I don't think I'd really like it.
I'm Shadow. If you're reading this, I dare you to use every trick you have to give me diabetes. You win, I give either you or Shad a game of your choice, under a reasonable price, of course. If I win, Shad has to put my TF2 Sona in an upcoming project of his. Only should you both accept, and we can establish communication with each other. Go ahead.
Well, I guess I'll have to get I'm Shadow in on that.